So welcome to this show again. A lot of things happening in the city, both in the White House and at the Capitol here. Walk us through.
Well, of course, the big news is not just in the city, but it's worldwide. It's the brutal attack by Hamas on Israel on last Saturday.
The pictures that are coming from this quite grilling, quite inhuman pictures coming out from Israel.
It's grim. It's grim. It's very sad. And as we're recording this, Israel is preparing a major assault upon Gaza. The UN has just warned Israel to say, look, be careful. Could become a humanitarian crisis. Israel is saying for 1.1 million northern Gazans to leave the area because they're going to attack, and the UN says that's impossible.
What is your own analysis or observation of the things happening in Israel?
Well, we had a very interesting conversation at lunch about this. Very good lunch, by the way, in Alexandria. Yeah.
It's a nice restaurant, Dion.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. Well, I mean, I thought that your proposition, of course, there's no evidence of this yet, is that there may be other players involved in this whole matter, not just Hamas, but many people, of course, speculate Iran. And of course, we all knew that Iran was not happy that Israel was going to enter into a peace agreement with Saudi Arabia because it hates Saudi Arabia. But then what you were saying, which I think is a very interesting idea, is look, if America gets distracted by having to support Israel fighting Hamas, and maybe it could be Hezbollah later on in the north. And here at the White House, President Biden says, don't Hezbollah, don't you get involved. But if it was Russia or China that was involved with this in any kind of way, well, they both have motivations for this to happen. I mean, Russia is trying to win this war in Ukraine. China would like to attack Taiwan. What better way to win those two conflicts than to distract the United States in other affairs?
Yeah, I'll say this weak U.S. would be very helpful. China would love to have a weak U.S. It's already been fighting on the two different fronts. There are no troops in the ground, but they're spending a lot of money in these two battlefronts, right? So that would make much more easier for one country in Asia to occupy or attack Taiwan, which it has been long aiming at. So at that point of time, I don't see people in the U.S. would have appetite to support three wars at three different fronts.
And another thing that is interesting about this idea, and again,
right, it's not real.
We don't have any evidence of this yet. We have no evidence, but this is speculation as to maybe an idea of what might be happening, is that intelligence officials are all saying that there's been an information warfare campaign going on right now. Hamas doesn't have the ability to conduct such warfare. It's Russia and China, maybe Iran, that has the ability to mount such a disinformation campaign on Twitter and social media.
If you see the tweets that are coming out of China, all in favor of them.
There you go. I mean, look, China would like nothing better than to get the United States wrapped up into an unwinnable war. And by the way, I mean, one thing that I'm putting together this week is a piece about how an invasion of Gaza, while maybe justified, is unwinnable because, I mean, first of all, Hamas is embedded with civilians. Some of them even dress like IDF, which is Israeli Defense Forces. So it's impossible to know who is who. And so if you use old world tactics for a new world, you're going to lose eventually, or it's going to cost you dearly, both in lives but also in morale.
Yeah, but for the time being, it's the common man, be it in Israel or in Palestine or Gaza, are the main sufferers.
That's right. It would be terrible if what plays out is the death of just scores of innocent people. It would really play into the bad players' hands to allow that. And Anthony Blinken did, while he offered unwavering support to Israel, did say in his press conference with Benjamin Netanyahu that there has to be a balance there.
I don't know what balance can we have when people are being attacked, brutally murdered, dragged on the road. What kind of response?
That's the dilemma that Israel finds itself in, is because it has to be answered somehow. There's no doubt about it. I mean, what was done was so evil, so wrong in so many different ways. But they also have to be smart. I mean, unfortunately, this Israeli government, which has been the most radical government that Israel has had in its 75-year history, is not really good at nuance. They don't understand that it might be better to be a little bit more diplomatic, be a little bit more covert. I mean, the Ministry of Defense, Itamar Ben-Gvir. Here's a man who reportedly, I haven't been to his house, but in his living room wall had a photograph proudly hanging of an Israeli terrorist, Barak Goldstein, who murdered 29 Palestinians while they were praying. So Itamar Ben-Gvir, I mean, he wouldn't even be eligible to be a waiter at my wedding. And here he was made the Minister of Defense. Israel needs to smarten up. They need to get rid of such people from their cabinet. Now, they did just form a coalition government with both labor and conservatives to group together, but they still have this radical faction. And the people who planned this very, very sophisticated attack knew that Israel was weakened by this hard right agenda, which has been stripping Israeli, renting it apart in a terrible way.
I don't follow the Israeli politics that close as you do, but it's a time that the justice be brought to the people who were responsible for killing so many innocent, took so many innocent lives. Let's see, and peace. Ultimately, there should be peace in the region. And what U.S. and other countries like India have been saying that the two-state solution is the one solution. The two countries, two people live in peace forever.
The problem with the whole area is that it's been rent with really stupid leaders. I mean, Yasser Arafat was offered 95% of the lands that Palestinians sat on. He was offered almost everything, and he rejected the deal. He didn't say no, but he didn't say yes. I mean, it was just over and over. And then you had Ariel Sharon, who came in and marched on Temple Mount, which just spurred the Intifada, which spurred backlash from Palestinians. And then you have this very, very radical right-wing government, which some speculate has been Netanyahu has aligned with because he faces charges of corruption that he's trying to avoid. So they're trying to weaken the courts, all for their own self-interest, but not for the people of Israel, the people of Palestine. Both deserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
So tell me, what's going to happen next in the region? What are the next steps you see, next things happening in Israel?
Nothing good. I mean, nothing good. I mean, many people are worried that on the north, near the Golan Heights, I've been on both sides of the Golan Heights. I've been on Lebanon looking that way, and I've been in Israel looking up at Lebanon before, many years apart. But I would say that there's nothing good that comes from this invasion. Nothing good. I mean, I am very worried, as the UN is, as many people are, that this is going to turn into a quagmire which will suck our resources from focusing on what you said, which is, the pursuit of peace and harmony in the world. And for Russia, this couldn't be better than to distract the United States as well. And Iran likes this.
We'll keep on covering this unfolding event in the Middle East. Meanwhile, I would like to take you to the Capitol Hill, the election of the new speaker. There we have no speaker for the last
week. When a pope dies, they have, or resigns, like the one prior to Pope Francis did, which is pretty rare. They have a college of cardinals, and the saying is that the favorite cardinal that people say is going to become elected pope, that he walks in as the future pope, and he walks out a cardinal. And that's what happened to Steve Scalise this week. He walked in as the future Speaker of the House, and he walked out a representative. It's going to happen to Jim Jordan again. So it's going to be somebody that will be elected that we don't even know yet. Just like the
Why is it so
college
difficult
parties.
among the Republicans to elect a new speaker?
Well, they have this radical faction that kind of grew out of the Tea Party and also the MAGA movement, plus Nancy Mace, who I do not know why she voted against McCarthy. I guess we're going to have to wait for her memoirs to find out the real reason why she voted against him. And of course, the Democrats voted against McCarthy. But they are uncompromising. I mean, the way you legislate in a parliamentary system or a democracy is you find middle ground. Some things you don't like, you agree to in order to look at the whole, to look at the bigger solution. And there is just this very, very small handful of Republicans that were elected in gerrymandered districts. So districts that they just don't need any kind of moderate votes. They know they'll get reelected, and they're just going all the way. And this is why gerrymandering is dangerous for democracy, because then people get elected who truly are not able to see both sides of an issue.
Who do you think would be the next speaker?
We don't know, but I mean, Hakeem Jeffries has been asked by several networks whether he would work with the Republicans to come up with an agreed speaker. You know, maybe it could be a joint speaker, maybe it could be a more moderate speaker that Democrats would support. The Democrats have said that they will support a speaker that will work with them. So you don't get everything you want, but that's how democracy works, is to find common ground. We don't know at this point. And anybody who says they know, they're lying.
It's all politics.
It's all politics. And then we have something else going on the Hill. And that is that we have a senator who used to be the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
A very powerful position.
Very powerful.
President Biden was once a chairman of Senate Foreign Relations.
It's one of the most powerful positions in Washington.
What's happening there?
Well, he was arrested for for taking bribes. And I was saying to my wife, I said, you know, everything that I read says this guy is a foreign agent. I don't understand why he wasn't charged for that. Well, sure enough, just this week, he was charged with being a foreign agent for Egypt, which makes a lot of sense. Now, I speculate as to why we haven't gotten a full-throated denunciation of Menendez. I mean, there is no reason why he should be a senator at all. Now, we have had 30 Democratic senators, which is over half of the Democratic caucus have said, get out of here, go away. But Chuck Schumer hasn't done this, and another almost 20 Democratic senators haven't. And yet, we have some Republican senators, such as Tom Cotton, who have said, just wait a minute, maybe we're prejudging before he goes to trial. Maybe we shouldn't do that. And if you listen to Menendez carefully, he almost is throwing a warning shot to Democrats. He's saying, I've been a loyal Democrat, which indicates, at least to me, that he's saying to Democrats, you watch out. If you defenestrate me, which means throw you out the window, right? Defenestration, then I'll switch sides and become a Republican. And that's happened in the Senate before. Jim Jeffries did that. He was from Vermont. He flipped and it turned the balance of power in the Senate. That could happen. And I think that's why you're not seeing Chuck Schumer come out too forcefully against Menendez.
But what's the one possible? Should he resign?
Well, yeah. But is he going to? No way. I mean, he should resign. Now, it could be, too. There is another speculation that some legal analysts have put out, and that is he might be holding up a proffer saying to the Justice Department, look, I sit in the Senate right now with secrets. I'll leave if you give me a good deal and you don't send me to prison. That could be a possibility as well. I don't know. I mean, but anything's possible in this very fraught time.
Great. I think that's all for the day.
Yeah.
And we'll meet again next Friday.
That's right.
If you like it,
give us.
If you have any questions, send us our way. We'll cover that next.
And also, if you look under Lalit here, you look for the last Friday Roundup show. And then over here at the video that YouTube recommends that you see next. See you next week.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.